What's going on, investors? Welcome back to the channel. Sorry for the delay. I just got back from work, and it took me a while to put all these things together because it's a new studio, guys. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Black Bezos, what's up? What's going on, guys? So Bionano Genomics just please let me know if you can hear me very well. Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear in the comment section. We have 5 minutes left. Steve, what's up? Sorry guys, I just got back from work and I needed to help my wife with the kids, so that's why I came in late. So Bionano Genomics they are about to acquire a company, and Purigen Biosystems. I've been doing my homework on this company since morning, but I still have to make an entire video about this. But we are just here to listen to what the management of Bionano Genomics has to say about this acquisition. So that's why we are here. I think it's going to last for about 30 minutes because the market is going to open in the next 1 hour or so. So we are just here to listen to what I think Eric is going to say about Purigen Biosystems acquisition, and then what they plan to do with it. Of course, there is already a lot of information about the acquisition of this company, and I'm going to pause this for a while. Okay, you guys cannot hear it anyway. So there is already a press release about this, and I mean, I went through it and I could share some things about it with you guys. Let me know, guys, if you can hear me in the comment section before I start talking to myself, because this is an entire new studio. Okay, I don't want to be talking to myself. Guys, come on, let me know in the comment section. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. Welcome, guys. Welcome. So Bionano Genomics dropped a press release yesterday immediately after the market closed, and the title of the press release, of course, says Bionano Genomics to acquire Purigen Biosystems to enable further simplified and accelerated DNA isolation for optical genome mapping and address difficult sample types in new applications with ITP on the IONIC purification system. So in a nutshell, I think this is just about we build a system with let me quickly bring that article out about Bionano Genomics. How should I search for it? I'm going to check Yahoo Finance if I can find it. We have 2 minutes before the press release, so we still have enough time, guys. We have enough time. We have 2 minutes before the press release. So I think this has to do with this device that Bionano Genomics is making with this ultra high molecular DNA isolation device that Bionano Genomics went in conjunction. Let me see if I can find it. Excuse me, 4 months ago. I want to see if I can bring it out. So after the press release, anyway, we are still going to talk a little bit about Bionano Genomics, and then we'll talk about the the price action of BNGO, how that is possibly going to affect the share price of Bionano Genomics, because I believe that is literally what most of you guys are here for. How this is going to affect the company, and how we can make profit from our investment in this company in a nutshell. So I'm going to be sharing more information with you guys after the press release. Where is it? Bionano Genomics. I think I just have to go to bionanogenomics.com, and I think I can find it there. I want to share something with you guys. Okay, I want to explain what this acquisition is all about in a nutshell, so that we don't end up wasting our time on this. It's not something that we need to waste our time on. So, line up, commercial availability of the world. So this is from the 26th of October. I think this new acquisition has to do with this press release right here with Hamilton. Hamilton is what I forgot. Hamilton and Bionano Genomics announced commercial availability of world's first ultra high molecular weight DNA extraction automation solution for OGM. So in my opinion, this new acquisition has to do with the Bionano Genomics, this commercial version of the device that they made with Hamilton. We cannot find that picture here. Let me see if I can just Google it and bring it out. So I think that is literally what the new acquisition is all about. So this device right here, so I think this is literally what the new acquisition is all about. Bionano Genomics is trying to attend to their customers. They are listening to their customers, trying their best to satisfy their customers. So I think it's going to help Bionano Genomics with this device right here. All right, so they are live.
Today's conference is being recorded. At this time, I would like to turn the call over to Amy Conrad from Investor Relations. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Keith, and good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Bionano Genomics conference call, where we will be discussing the acquisition of Purigen Biosystems. Leading the call today is Dr. Eric Holmlin, CEO of Bionano. He's joined by Chris Stewart, CFO of Bionano, and Dr. Clint Rose, previously CSO and co-founder of Purigen, who are available for questions. After market close yesterday, Bionano issued a press release announcing Bionano and Purigen's entry into a merger agreement for the proposed acquisition of Purigen. A copy of the release can be found on the Investor Relations page of Bionano's website. I would like to remind everyone that certain statements made during this conference call may be forward-looking, including statements about Bionano's strategic and commercialization plans, sales pipeline, anticipated benefits or improvements to Purigen's products and their ability to enhance the ease or usability of optical genome mapping, statements relating to the proposed acquisition of Purigen Biosystems and the anticipated closing, results and benefits thereof and achievement of any milestones related thereto, statements regarding potential plans following the closing of the acquisition, including integration planning outcomes, improvements in
Joseph, and now
and incorporating of the ITP technology into the OGM workflow and complementary to existing Bionano solutions and the Sapphire system. Such forward-looking statements are based upon current expectations, and there can be no assurances that the results contemplated in these statements will be realized. Actual results may differ materially from such statements due to a number of factors and risks, some of which are identified in Bionano's press release and Bionano's reports filed with the SEC. These forward-looking statements are based on information available to Bionano today, and the company assumes no obligation to update statements as circumstances change, except as required by law. An audio recording and webcast replay for today's conference call will also be available online in the investor section of the company's website. With that, I will turn the call over to Eric. Eric?
Great. Thank you, Amy, and good morning to everyone. Thank you so much for joining. And I want to start off by saying this is an incredibly exciting day for us at Bionano. In addition to Chris Stewart and Clint Rose, who are on the call, I'm joined today by Mark Oldakowski, who's our Chief Operating Officer and has been leading product development and manufacturing and customer support here at Bionano for a number of years now. And I want to congratulate Mark on this acquisition. It's really an incredible step forward for us, and we're very, very excited to have entered into this material definitive agreement for the proposed acquisition of Purigen. Purigen is a company that develops and commercializes what we believe are best-in-class solutions for automated nucleic acid extraction using something called ISOTACHOPHORESIS, which is a proprietary technology that Purigen licensed exclusively from Stanford University, and over the past decade has developed into a commercial solution which they have deployed on their IONIC system. And I can tell you that when you talk to customers about it, they're very excited about how it works, and so are we. We believe that this acquisition has the potential to help us expand the adoption of optical genome mapping by improving the way in which we isolate ultra-high molecular weight DNA for OGM. This acquisition, we believe, is a great strategic fit for us. It will help us accelerate the adoption of optical genome mapping. It will allow Bionano to acquire technology that we believe can enable us to achieve the goal of creating what is really an end-to-end solution for OGM, putting it together alongside with other components of the entire workflow that will together provide what is a comprehensive view of genome variation and the impact it has on human disease. Now, as you may know, the optical genome mapping workflow centers around our proprietary single molecule imaging of DNA that has been linearized inside nanochannel arrays. And in order to drive widespread adoption for OGM for routine use across our target markets, cytogenomics, discovery research, and cell bioprocessing, we're focused on creating this integrated end-to-end solution that really maximizes some key attributes: ease of use, the speed, and the overall performance of that workflow. We added biodiscovery, which gave us an analytical platform through which we can transform the way the world sees the genome with software that integrates optical genome mapping data alongside other data types used in genomic analysis, such as next-generation sequencing and microarrays for single nucleotide variants and small structural variants. Purigen's IONIC purification system and the underlying isotachophoresis, or ITP technology, represents a novel approach to isolating and purifying DNA that we believe would complement what we have on the market today that's based on a traditional binding approach, something that Hamilton has automated, and that the addition of IONIC and ITP provides a solution that will allow us to address more complex sample types, including small samples, samples with low cell counts, or samples where the nucleic acids that are pretty dilute. And so when we look at where we're headed with this focus on structural variation, we believe that we have the potential to truly unlock the next wave of big biology in genomics, and that comes through acquisitions like this one, Purigen, that come alongside the incredible Sapphire system and the optical genome mapping workflow. So I want to share a little bit more about Purigen with you today. This is a California company headquartered in Pleasanton. The company was formed about 10 years ago with technology, as I mentioned, licensed from Stanford University. The ITP technology was developed in the Stanford Microfluidics Laboratory, led by Dr. Juan Santiago, who is the vice chair and Department of Mechanical Engineering there. Clint, who's on the call with us today and will become a fellow at Bionano, earned his PhD with Dr. Santiago before co-founding Purigen. We're excited that Clint will join the team after the closing and that he will continue to drive the development of Purigen's ITP technology, now with the support from Bionano. We want to say something about the incredible team at Purigen. They have built a unique and powerful technology. They have an installed base of their IONIC system labs across the globe. We spoke to a number of those customers through the process of getting to know Purigen, and customers love their product, and they should be very proud of what they have achieved. And once the acquisition is complete, we believe that we'll be able to expand upon what this team has built by adding optical genome mapping to the set of solutions that ITP-based sample preparation provides. This acquisition follows what was really an extensive co-development program and evaluation that was led by Mark Oldakowski, in which the Purigen team, over a period of about a year, developed several methods and techniques for isolating ultra-high molecular weight DNA, and then demonstrated it on the IONIC system. And so I want to give a snapshot of the Purigen ionic purification system. Currently, what they offer is nucleic acid sample preparation through this commercially available platform, which is capable of isolating DNA and RNA using ITP. This automated benchtop instrument and its accompanying microfluidic chip purify complex biological samples from a variety of sources, low cell counts, small sample types, or otherwise challenging samples. The current system has been adopted for many different samples, including and especially formalin-fixed paraffin-embedded, or FFPE, tumor tissue. And again, when we talk to customers about what really excites them about ITP in their labs, it's this ability to tackle FFPE, which is really one of the most common samples in cancer. Now, purified nucleic acids are immediately compatible after coming off of the ionic system with a wide range of downstream detection methods, including next-generation sequencing, PCR, and other genomic analysis methods. The ionic system can purify 8 samples in 1 hour with less than 5 minutes of total hands-on time in a fully automated workflow. What's important about ITP is that it's a solution-based concentration approach. That means it's different from protocols that are in routine use today, which tend to rely on binding to a matrix, washing the bound nucleic acid to remove impurities, and then stripping the target molecules off of that matrix. Now, these protocols tend to be less efficient at capturing molecules from dilute solution, and they often result in shorter average lengths of DNA after removal from the matrix, and that means that those molecules tend to be shorter than what optical genome mapping requires. And so what we believe is that ITP is a very elegant solution to isolating long DNA from complex samples in a way that fits very nicely with the requirements of optical genome mapping and gives great results. This acquisition of Purigen offers us an opportunity to really elevate the overall OGM workflow, and we believe because of the automation and simplicity and the throughput that the ionic system offers, make it easier to operate at scale. So this is a big step forward for us overall, and we know that the sample prep step in optical genome mapping is one that customers point to as something that they would like to see improvements in. And so through the combination of working with Purigen and with Hamilton, we believe we're going to be providing them a number of solutions here. And so there are many strategic benefits to this transaction. Certainly we need to do some work to finalize product development in a way that there is an ionic purification for optical kit for optical genome mapping that's available, and we expect that to come sometime in the near future. And then we'll be able to offer this IONIC purification system as part of the end-to-end workflow for OGM. We believe that this acquisition will ultimately not only expand the technology portfolio, but as a result of ITP offering this solution-based approach, will allow us to overcome limitations of our current binding approach to tackle sample types that have been proven challenging for our current approach. And we'll talk more about what those sample types are, but I can say that there are examples of things that are in routine use today, and certainly when we have a kit available for those samples, it will expand the utility of optical genome mapping, and as a result, really expand the market for OGM. Now I want to discuss the integration plan following the closing of this acquisition and the new operational structure. As I mentioned, Clint Rose would become a fellow at Bionano, leading all of the ITP technology and product development here. Many of the team would be integrated into existing roles, such as our manufacturing and other areas of G&A and so forth. The goal of our integration plan is to fully support the existing business that Purigen operates, and that includes supporting enthusiastically all of their existing customers. We plan to expand the installed base of the IONIC system to customers who may or may not be OGM users. This will allow us to position Bionano as a key solution provider throughout molecular pathology and cytogenomics. And then ultimately our goal is to commercialize the IONIC system with kits that are specifically developed for optical genome mapping, and that's likely to include many different sample types. And so these are certainly some ambitious goals that we believe we can accomplish together with the world-class team at Purigen. And lastly, I just want to review the financial details of the transaction before we take your questions. So the transaction included consideration that can be up to $64 million, $32 million of which will be paid in cash at closing, subject to customary adjustments. The remainder of the consideration is contingent upon achievement of certain milestones. I want to mention that Cowen and Company served as an exclusive advisor to Bionano on this transaction, and we expect the acquisition to close promptly, but certainly before December 8th, 2022. And after the close, we are enthusiastic about welcoming the entire Purigen team into Bionano. So with that, Keith, I would like to turn the call back over for Q&A. So Keith?
Yes. All right. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to ask a question, please press star one on your telephone keypad. If you are using a speakerphone, please make sure your mute function is turned off to allow your signal to reach our equipment. Again, press star one to ask a question. And the first question comes from Jeffrey Cohen with Ladenburg Thalmann.
Oh, hi, Eric. Good morning. Thanks for taking our questions.
Welcome, Jeff. Good morning.
So, well, firstly, could you walk us through the size of the company, Purigen, their sales force, the commercial organization, and give us a sense of the fleet size out there and geographically speaking, where they may be located?
Sure. So the company has about 28 employees total. In the sales organization, there are 3 folks who are dedicated to sales in the field, 2 in the United States and 1 in Europe. They also have a field applications team and a field support team that numbers in the medium single digits. So, of the 28 probably about 10 people in commercial overall, and we'll be integrating those folks into our team, over the coming weeks. The thinking is that we will add the IONIC system to the products that the Bionano team is selling and integrate their selling team into that commercial group.
Got it. And could you talk about ITP and how it relates to reagent utilization? Would there be less of a need? Is it less reagents that are used through the process on throughput for samples, or more reagents? And could you give us a sense of that?
I mean, economically, I think, it's not a one for one. There are some configuration differences, but there's certainly a consumable chip that's used, a microfluidic chip. The current one has a capacity of 8 samples, so it would run sort of batches of optical genome mapping samples when available, and I think is very comparable to the overall reagent usage model that we have for what we're operating today. In terms of their pull through, I think that they have pretty good pull through on the system, but we're not really breaking out any of those numbers yet in terms of their independent standalone applications. What I will say is that the cost to produce this chemistry and this solution overall compared to the cost to produce what we're doing currently is lower, and so there'll be a benefit to us in terms of the cost of goods sold for the optical genome mapping reagents once there's a ITP based system available, and it gives us some flexibility as to whether we're passing that on to customers and in what fashion.
Got it. That's helpful. And one more for us. Could you talk about, so I suppose that you're envisioning that a fair amount of your placements would benefit from an IONIC system to run samples prior to OGM and vice versa. So what you describe as 2 units essentially, and it sounds like longer term you would work on some type of combination unit for higher throughput in both capabilities in one system?
I'm not sure about the combination unit, although we do love your ideas, and we have a team of engineers and product developers that get fired up when they hear that stuff because they love to build these things. And I'm not saying it's not possible, but that's not something that we're necessarily working on. We're certainly working on an evolution of the current IONIC, which is iconic, but it's called IONIC system that would have a kit and kind of integrated protocols that are tuned and optimized for isolating isolating ultra high molecular weight DNA for OGM. Now that would be like a menu addition to that system. It would not be a dedicated system for ultra high molecular weight DNA. So a customer who's using it for FFPE into NGS can continue to use it for that. So the use case is very broad for IONIC. And in this kind of intervening period between now and when we release kits for OGM on IONIC, we believe that this is a great way to expand the Bionano customer base. They have about 50 systems or so installed worldwide now, and there's certainly some overlap. We have common customers today, but there's also customers who are using IONIC that are not yet Bionano customers. And so we believe expanding the overall customer base for Bionano is good for us, and it creates the opportunity for a new customer to become familiar with us and then become an OGM user down the road. So this is a strategic kind of product that opens doors for us.
That's super. Thanks for taking our questions, Eric.
Thank you. And the next question comes from Frank Brisebois with Oppenheimer.
Hi.
Hey, Frank.
Thanks for taking our questions. This is Dan on for Frank. Congrats on the acquisition. Just following up on the last question there. With this acquisition, do you expect a widening of your customer base that you're targeting, specifically any particular customer groups who tended to show more inertia in adopting OGM? Now with the addition of ITP-based sample prep, do you expect to drive more adoption among those particular, any specific customer groups? Any comment there?
Yes, I mean, we believe that a strategic benefit of bringing in automated, streamlined methods for ultra-high molecular weight DNA isolation is that it will impact potential OGM users who have been seeking to adopt the method but found our current approach to DNA isolation maybe too low in throughput, looking for something faster, maybe requiring too many manual steps, so looking for something automated. And what I would say is that when we look at the automation solutions that will eventually be available, right now customers are able to work with us and work with Hamilton to get the LongStream Vantage system, which will automate the current DNA isolation chemistry, which works great, and that's going to be a great solution for them. Now they will have, in the future when the IONIC system has an OGM kit, they will have another option. And importantly, we believe that IONIC will extend beyond, through ITP, will extend beyond the capabilities of the current system to address additional sample types that we know just don't perform as well with the existing chemistry. And so I think the answer is yes. We have customers that are on the sidelines for workflow reasons that will find more automation friendly for them. And then we have other customers who may be on the sidelines because they're working with a sample type that maybe it's just too few cells in that sample type, too small or minute of a sample type, or too high a volume so that the target molecules that are in the sample is really dilute. And we believe that a solution like ITP will address all that. And so bottom line is, yeah, we expect this to really broaden the installed base of OGM over time and through a process of expanding our addressable market.
Thanks. Thank you for taking my question.
Thank you. And the next question comes from Michael Okunewitch with Maxim Group.
Hey guys, congratulations on the acquisition, and thank you for taking my question.
So, good morning, Michael.
Good morning. To start off, I just wanted to ask kind of a broad question. It's a pretty meaningful acquisition, so I'd like to see if you could contextualize the magnitude of the difference, in particular in terms of throughput and hands-on time between your current processes and ITP, and what the practical benefit looks like for our customers.
Sure. I mean, I think this is. So we talked a little bit about the capabilities of the IONIC system today, and we don't know exactly what it will be for optical genome mapping when that kit is available, but we can reference the current capabilities as a proxy. So DNA isolation, 8 samples in 1 hour. Depending on how labs operate their day, they can get quite a few samples through that system. And so we believe that this represents significantly higher throughput than labs would be able to push through using the current manual system. Now, if we think about Hamilton, which has automated optical genome mapping, they're at about 24 samples a day. And so we should certainly be able to get into that range with an OGM kit on IONIC, if not doing a little bit better. And so we're certainly in a place through the acquisition of Purigen and our partnership with Hamilton where we're going to take our throughput, which is manual today, and elevate it through one automation solution or another to something that's higher throughput. And we believe that's really important for addressing routine use at scale in a commercial environment. That's number one, and you're making specific reference to throughput. Number two is really around the limited hands-on time that the IONIC system requires, and so it's really minutes through getting the sample ready and then to actually get it into the ITP IONIC system. It's really limited hands-on time, and so that means that tech time overall dedicated to the sample preparation for OGM can be minimized. And what we know about optical genome mapping and the folks who are adopting it, they do that because they believe it's a streamlined workflow compared to what they're running today, 3 or 4 different techniques. And so this idea of workflow simplification is a big value driver overall. And so, ITP IONIC on IONIC really just, hits the spot with regard to that. Then I want to talk about just the consistency that an automated approach provides. Our current chemistry is reliable. Customers get good results with it, and they get those consistently. But there is variation that comes with a manual process. And so by automating the process, we're going to bring a lot of consistency. And again, that consistency translates into better results for end users. They get, more usable results, less failed samples. But, the better results also comes with lower costs. So fewer repeats in samples and so forth. And so, this move to bring in an automation solution on a proprietary chemistry, I don't know if Clint will allow me to call ITP a chemistry, but certainly there are reagents involved in the isotachophoresis process that are chemical in nature. But in bringing this solution in-house, it really allows us to integrate an automated solution within our workflow and offer customers like a truly end-to-end solution. And I think that this is something that's really important, and it's very complementary to what we're doing with Hamilton. I want to emphasize that because Hamilton is a good partner and has automated our current chemistry, and Hamilton is a great automation provider and can potentially work with other solutions like ITP. And so you can imagine, massive expansion of our capabilities through that partnership going forward. But the real idea here is to transform this workflow, make it faster, make it reliable, make it consistent, and as a result, lower cost and streamline results for end users.
All right, thank you for that. And then to follow up, I'd like to just see kind of if you view this more as an evolutionary improvement where you get improved solution extraction for a market where you already address, or does this really open up a segment of the market which was unfeasible at scale?
I really feel like it's the latter, partly because of expanding the addressable market by allowing us to go after different sample types. But I want to emphasize something which I think is really important, and it's that this approach to purification of biomolecules which is being applied here to DNA and RNA on the IONIC system, is completely revolutionary and differentiated. It's totally orthogonal to just about everything that's in use today on a routine basis. The idea of isotachophoresis has been around, but its development and optimization, the IP that underlies this method, which Purigen exclusively licensed to Stanford and then will become part of Bionano's IP portfolio. This approach is completely unique in the market, and so in that sense, I really do view this acquisition as revolutionary for Bionano and elevating our total offering into the genomics community. It makes us a big and important potential partner throughout molecular pathology, and something that we talked about when we purchased BioDiscovery and really emphasized software, which software is the lens through which everybody looks at their data. That's why software is so important. But guess what? There is no data without a good sample. And so, every single genome analysis begins at the sample. And so isotachophoresis, the way it's been developed by Clint and his team, we can't say enough and congratulate them enough for their incredible progress. But this is really a revolutionary approach to nucleic acid isolation, and I think that the applications that exist for it are multiple, and we're going to see that bearing fruit for years to come in Bionano for sure.
Thanks for that. And then just one more from me, and I'll hop back in the queue. You've already moved down the path of improving the analysis with the software, automating the sample prep, and now this additional sample isolation technology. Could you just highlight which aspects are there that could further benefit from additional process refinements to increase scalability and provide a more optimized end-to-end solution for OGM?
Sure. I think we think of it in probably 5 buckets overall, and it begins with DNA isolation, sample preparation, and we have this partnership with Hamilton, which has been incredibly productive, and now this acquisition of Purigen, and so we really believe we're addressing that bucket. There is the whole bucket of sample labeling, DNA labeling, and so the introduction of sequence informative information onto the sample that will subsequently be analyzed, and this is an area where we're looking at a number of different solutions, and so we have a good, very, very powerful in-house program to drive that forward, and that we believe that through the relationships that we have now, we'll be able to continue expanding the utility and impact of that area. A third bucket would really be around DNA processing. So, accelerating the steps that go in between data generation and data analysis on the NX Clinical software. This is also an area where we've been doing a lot of work and co-development with different partners, and so we're seeing progress there. And then, of course, there's DNA analysis, which we've addressed through the acquisition of BioDiscovery. The fifth, and at the center of this whole ecosystem is the data generation component of it altogether, and that's really, our core. I want to say that, I'm not trying to put investors or anybody on notice that we're going to be going out and making acquisitions in the DNA or data processing or sample labeling buckets. We remain opportunistic about opportunities that may exist out there. However, I want to say that we do have a number of partnerships, a number of relationships, and strong internal expertise that's providing us really advanced solutions in that area. And so, the focus for us now after, bringing biodiscovery in is getting, a version of NX Clinical out into the market that analyzes optical genome mapping data, and that's going well, and we expect that to be available soon. We'll turn to developing a kit for IONIC that is designed to isolate ultra-high molecular weight DNA for OGM. And then our eternal focus is on our next mapping instrument, which, as you know, we're committed to providing a pre-commercial system into the field this year. Just about to enter the last month of this year. I'm looking at Mark Oldakowski, who leads that team, and so we expect to be having a system, pre-commercial system in the field. But our focus will really be on optimizing that next mapping instrument, which will kind of map the throughputs of these the throughputs of these automated solutions that are out there. So there's a lot going on for us. But I want to say that we have other areas where we're developing solutions, but I do not want to be signaling to anybody that there are other acquisitions on the horizon.
All right. Thank you. Again, congratulations on the acquisition.
Thanks, Michael.
Thank you. And this concludes the question and answer session. I would like to return the call to Dr. Holmlin for any closing comments.
Great. Thank you, Keith. Thank you, everybody, for calling. Thanks for the great Q&A. And we look forward to updating you after the first of the year on our Q4 call. So thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you. The conference has now concluded. Thank you for attending today's presentation. You may now
So that is it, guys. So you guys can hear that Eric is trying to tell us what he plans to do. But the good news from this is that, finally he spoke about the next generation Sapphire device towards the end. I think that is what most of us are just waiting for. Okay, this acquisition is literally complementing what they are already doing, the partnership that Bionano Genomics already has with, Hamilton. So I mean, even the analysts, they were finding it difficult to understand why Bionano Genomics is acquiring a company that is also into DNA sampling, okay, from this sampling segment. Because when we acquired Biodiscovery, it was about, the software. So now this is the second time. First, and the question is, why didn't Bionano Genomics go into partnership with, Purigen, with this company, instead of acquiring them? They could also go into partnership with them like they did with, Hamilton, and save a lot of money. I don't know why this analyst didn't ask, this question. Now we have 28 employees, okay, that are going to possibly coming over to Bionano Genomics, okay, increasing the, of course, expenses. And I made a note. I'm still going to make a separate video about all this so that I can share all my opinion. I still need to go through it once again. So Bionano Genomics is going to bring in Dr. Clint Rose, the founder of this company Purigen. He's possibly going to be the chief scientific officer of Bionano. I don't know what position he's going to be holding. And then we now have, apart from the Sapphire device, apart from the Hamilton device that we are in collaboration with Hamilton with, we are going to have a new device, the IONIC 6 system. Okay, and according to the CEO of Bionano Genomics, they have about 50 installed base, okay, worldwide. So, and also he said inside this 50 customers, some of them are already customer of Bionano Genomics, while some are not. So it means Bionano Genomics is possibly going to be installing more Sapphire devices, let's say 20 or 25 Sapphire devices, okay, I mean, from the customer of this company. Like 25 of them are possibly going to buy the Sapphire device. So that is positive. And then I would love to hear more about the total addressable market of this company, how much this company is going to bring on. I hope they are still going to share more information about this with us, okay. And some customer, and also he spoke about some customers that are already waiting, they don't want to acquire the Sapphire device right now because maybe they still have problem with DNA isolation, sampling and so on and so forth. So hopefully this acquisition is going to help these customers come in. But I also don't know why the analyst didn't ask him this question: what customers, who are the customers that are on the sideline waiting for Bionano Genomics to possibly find some kind of DNA sampling solution before they come on board. I don't know why they don't talk about this. I'm very sure it's not, I don't think it's MD Anderson Cancer Center. Okay, I think MD Anderson Cancer Center is already a customer of Bionano Genomics. So, which customer is waiting on the sideline? I would love to know, but nothing like that. And then he spoke also about next generation sequencing, that this IONIC system is going to help Bionano Genomics to go a little bit into the next generation sequencing, segment. So I think in the future we are still going to. I'm trying my best to put my trust in Eric. Okay, I'm trying my best to trust this guy, to trust his judgment. Okay, on Bionano Genomics, because so far he has been doing very well. Of course, the guy is not perfect in everything, but I think he's capable of running the business, and hopefully, after spending $60 million US, you guys already know that we had about $180 million US left, okay, from last quarter, cash at hand. So if we spend $60 million US right now, it means we have about 4 quarters left, okay, till the end of next year. So I already made a video about diluting shares, and maybe we're going to go to the bank and take a loan once again. But I think Bionano Genomics is still going to be diluting shares at the market to raise some money. If they spend $32 million US this quarter to acquire this company, Purigen, you guys should expect, because every quarter we are literally spending about $30 million US. So if we spend $32 million US in cash this month, they have to close the acquisition next month in December. So if they spend $32 million US in this quarter, this fourth quarter, and then we spend about $30 million US in the fourth quarter to run Bionano Genomics, that is about 62, or let's say $65 million US we are going to be spending in this quarter alone. So there is a chance that Bionano Genomics has more or less raised more money at the market in this quarter. Because if you take a look at the chart of BNGO, okay, I'm going to pull up the chart. If we take a look at the chart of Bionano Genomics, where is it? BNGO. If you take a look at the chart of BNGO, after the announcement of the resignation of the chief business officer, we have been going down, guys. Look at that. We have been going down, okay. Let me put this like this, okay. What is that? Close this. All right, so we have been going down. If you take a look at the chart, this is the price action. So there is a possibility. I've been sharing a lot of information with the channel members. There is a possibility that Bionano Genomics has been raising at the market once again, selling some shares of BNGO. Look at that. I mean, it's not normal for us to just go up from all the way from 1 point something US, to almost $3 US and then drop back to $2 US. This, in my opinion, is not usual. Okay, this is unusual. So let's see what's going to happen during the fourth quarter earnings call. I think it's going to be in February 2023. There is a possibility that BNG is going to tell us that they have managed to raise more money again in the fourth quarter, because that is what they did in the third quarter. They raised about 20 something million US. So in the fourth quarter, there is possibility that they have raised money once again, and that could be the reason why the share price of BNGO has been going down all the way from $3 US after the announcement of the CBO resignation. We have literally given back every gain that the share has made in the past, since the beginning of, literally since, October, almost since the beginning of October. So we've given everything back. Look at that. It took us all these weeks to get up, and then it took just about 1 week to get down. So there's a possibility that they sold some shares. And right here, that is of course what happened right here in the third quarter. When we approached 4.5 US, we saw how we came down back, almost on the straight line. the way we went up, the way we came back down, and they came out and said they raised about 20 something million US dollars. So let's see what's gonna happen. I hope they are done raising money, and finally we retail investors at least can make some profit from from investing in this company, because most people are just sitting on deep red right now. If you take a look at the weekly, you can see what has been going on. Literally nothing has been going on. Literally it's just Bionano Genomics making some money. But of course I still remain bullish. As you guys can see, we are still more or less on this uptrend. Okay, why this happened, the CBO resigned, and then possibly Bngo is raising some money, or they have raised some money. We should expect the uptrend to continue. And on the dailies, just to end this technical analysis part, if you take a look at this, we are right now sitting above the 200 moving average. So let's hope this is going to provide some kind of support for the price. So that is that about that. And again, what else? So Purigen has 50 installed base. Okay, they have installed 50 of their device. I don't know how much this device cost. I was expecting the analysts that were asking questions to at least find more about the money. There was no question about money, about cost. There was absolutely no question about cost. Okay, it's more or less like they are all satisfied with how much Bionano Genomics has spent, or how much they are going to spend. So there was nothing about that. So in my opinion, institutional investors kind of like it so far. So this, in my opinion, should help the share price of Bngo to rise. Okay, we should see a decent rally today, maybe 5%, maybe 6%, maybe 7%. You guys should expect a decent rally today. Let's see what's going to happen. Hopefully the market is going to stay positive. We don't have any major news out there that is any major calendar, something that is expected to happen today. So let's see what's going to happen today. I think that's where I'm going to end this video. The market is going to open in the next 10 minutes. See you guys in the next one. I remain your boy Dayo. This is Frunkla, and thank you guys for checking in. No questions, so I think there's no question, so we're just gonna end it like that. So thank you guys, thank you everybody. Please consider becoming member of the channel. If you own more than 1,000 shares of Bionano Genomics, guys, it costs about 99 cents to become member of the channel every month. Okay, and if you don't want to become member of the channel on YouTube, there is also Patreon. There's a link to Patreon below. You can go to Patreon, and it costs about $10 if you want to become member of Patreon. Okay, I still have to figure out what I'm going to be posting differently on Patreon and on YouTube. So please consider becoming. If you own more than 1,000 shares, it's going to help you guys a lot. Believe me, I share a lot of information that I can't really possibly come here every day and make video anymore. I have a family to attend to as well, and a job. Terrible speaker from a science and business perspective. I think Eric is very good. Okay, the guy is very good at running this business. Okay, we are worried because we want to make profit, but Eric is worried about keeping this, keeping the lights on, running this business until they break even or until they become profitable. And I think he's doing a good job. Okay, because this is a company that has employee. We are talking about families. So if they can, literally keep running the business, it means, more family can benefit. All this employee can, you know what I mean. So, but of course, if you want to talk about investing side, it's another topic entirely. See you guys in the next one. Ciao, ciao.